Hey everybody, welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So we're here today because, as we all know, it is Booklist Thursday. Booklist Thursday is something I do with Sarah over at Sarah's Nightstand. We come to you every Thursday with some sort of book. Thoughts, ideas, recommendations, something bookish related. So today's topic is very appropriate considering it is, I don't know, feels like 90 something degrees today, middle of July. It is the perfect time for some sizzling summer reads. So I have a few ideas for you here that I think will hit just about anybody's taste. So the first one I want to talk about, they're actually on Kindle Unlimited or on Amazon if you have the Kindle app. And if you don't, I don't know how else you could get them, but I'm going to leave a link below so you can at least check them out. So Amazon has a few of these short story collections that they have where it features a variety of authors, like 6 or 7 authors write a short story or short story that has some sort of theme to it. And so in those collections, and I've talked about them before, there's something called the Improbable Meet Cute collection. There are 6 authors that are there, and they're probably some of my favorite. So we have Christina Lauren, Abby Jimenez, Sally Thorne, Jasmine Gullery, Ashley Poston, and Soraya Wilson. And each of them wrote a book for this Improbable Meet Cute. I would not call them a series. They're all separate stories, but there is an underlying theme to it. All of them have improbable first encounters between the 2 characters that, again, turn into hopelessly romantic happily ever afters. And the improbable meetings are interesting. I believe there's an earthquake for one of them. One of them, Abby Jimenez's, I've talked about before, it's the fall risk. That one, 2 people are trapped on the 2nd story of their apartment building because the stairs got demolished over the weekend. And there's a few others. I loved every single one of these stories. It was great. Some of them are set in summer-ish time. There's definitely some romance to it. And they were quick reads that you could read within a few hours. And I kind of like that in the summer because things get really busy. So highly recommend those. Love, love, love them. Next one I have to talk about, Sizzling is kind of in the title, Husbands and Lovers by Beatrice Williams. This one follows a couple of timelines. We have 2 women separated by decades and continents, but united by an exotic family heirloom, reclaim secrets and lost love in this stunning new novel, blah, blah. So we have current day, which is 2022. We have Mallory. She received a telephone call that's every parent's dreads. Her 10-year-old son, Sam, was airlifted from summer camp and very close to death from poisoning from a mushroom, and he's fighting for his life. He needs a new kidney. Mallory's forced to confront 2 secrets from her past: her mother's adoption from an infamous Irish orphanage in the 50s, and her own all-consumer summer romance 14 years earlier with her childhood best friend, Monk. Then we find out from the 1950s what kind of happened around her mother's adoption. So we go to Egypt, 1951. They are rebuilding from war, and there's a Hungarian refugee, Hannah, has forged a respectable new life for herself, marrying a wealthy British diplomat, and things go from there. So we're following Mallory and her son as she's trying to navigate this. She's taking summer in Martha's Vineyard with her friend, happens to run into the love of her life from years ago, while trying to figure out how to help her son. And then we get the background story of her mom. So loved this book. There's steaminess in here on a number of different channels, not only like hot summer Egypt steaminess, but steaminess. So highly recommend that one. Then I have one that I think is kind of, when you think sizzling reads, you think some spicy books. And the spicy book that came to my mind right away was Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This one follows 2 characters. We have Anastasia, who I love Anastasia, and Nate. Also love Nate, and I love all of Nate's friends. There's really good characters in this book, except for one. Anastasia is going to college on a scholarship, I believe, to be part of a figure skating team. So her and her partner, figure skaters, they're like on this journey basically to get to like nationals and potentially Olympics. And then we have Nate, who is the captain of the hockey team at the same college. They are forced to work together and compromise because something happens where to one of the ice skating rinks, and now this hockey team and the figure skaters have to now share an ice rink, and they need to figure out how to share. So their worlds kind of collide, worlds that they don't think would work together, and they're forced to. So definitely gets spicy and steamy, and I love it, and I was there for the whole thing. It was so good. So good. All right, then we get into like other interpretations of steaminess. We have Before the Fall by Noah Hawley, which I kind of forgot about this book for a while until I was book shopping and put this in Jen's hands and was like, you need to read this. I think this is a book that's been forgotten and we need to bring it back. So this one takes place in the summer, which is where I'm getting hot and steamy because it takes place in the summer. There's 11 people. 10 privileged, 1 down on his luck painter. They depart Martha's Vineyard in a private jet headed for New York. 16 minutes after takeoff, the unthinkable happens. The plane plunges into the ocean. The only survivors are Scott, that painter, who is doesn't fit in with the rest of the crowd, and a 4-year-old little boy, who's now the last remaining member of an immensely wealthy and powerful family. So the chapters go between the aftermath of the crash and the backstories of the passengers and crew, and how the survival works. And I think of steamy because they're in the ocean for a bit and it got hot, I believe. And then there's this mystery. As things start to unravel, there's very odd coincidences that point to a bit of a conspiracy, which can get a little steamy. Was it merely by dumb chance that so many influential people perished, or was something far more sinister at work? Events soon threatened to spiral out of control in an escalating storm of media outrage and accusations. And we go from there. I remember reading this very quickly. It kept my attention. I could probably reread it again, but it was fantastic. And pick this up if you haven't. I know it was kind of all over BookTube at the time, but if you haven't read that one, it's still worth the read. And then another sizzling summer recommendation, The Dry by Jane Harper, because this takes place in the outback in Australia and it is hot. I remember reading this and feeling hot. We have federal agent Aaron, hasn't been back to the place where he grew up in 20 years, not since him and his father were run out of town. That's sizzling steamy. Even when Aaron Falk gets word that his childhood best friend Luke is dead and his entire family has been murdered, Falk still isn't planning on going back, but then he gets a note. Luke lied. You lied. Be at the funeral. Just like that, he's swept back into the secrets of the place and the people he left long ago. He returns for the funeral. Luke's parents implore him to look into his death. Though everyone else in town thinks the case is open shut, there's sure something not right, which of course it's not right, and he gets involved and we figure it out and it's hot. So, just for those who maybe aren't into the steamy stuff, this is still sizzling summer read, just more temperature hot. So, enjoyed this one as well. I need to read more Jane Harper books. I have a few on my shelf. Gotta get to them. So, those are my recommendations for sizzling summer reads. Head over to Sarah's channel and see what she has for us today. Otherwise, leave an emoji of a sun below, like a sunshine sun, because those are hot and sizzling. And we have now a tornado watch for our location. Happy summer. Welcome to Wisconsin in the summer. Anyways, leave that below. Otherwise, comment. Give me some sizzling summer reads that you would recommend. I'd love to chat about books in the comments. Otherwise, subscribe, like, you know the drill. Thank you so much, and head to Sarah's channel and all that fun stuff. We'll see you next time. Bye.